democracy's basement to your ears for 9 freaking years in a row now. This is the weekly meeting of the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Each week, the dedicated staff of the Bureau meet to file recommendations, make reports, and survive for 9 years. Did I mention that already? Yeah, that's 9 years of this. Wow. One day, maybe we'll escape from this subterranean hell, but until that day comes, the city is not going to improve itself. So, here we stay, improving things. This meeting is now in session.
Hey. Oh, hey.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Do you know what's going on? Do you know what our kids are doing right now out there?
Haven't got a freaking clue.
Me neither, but I can guess.
Oh, yeah?
They're getting up to Shenanigans.
Ooh.
They're dressing up in crazy clothing. Wild clothing, I should say.
Oh, is it a rave? Tell me it's a rave.
I wish it were a rave. No, they are going door to door demanding things from innocent tax-paying citizens.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
The NDP is run amok
exactly.
in the streets of Regina, just like we were warned.
Exactly. They're exacting taxes in the form of candy and instituting draconian laws to restrict our freedoms.
Right.
Or they would be if they won the election. But they did not. So, here we are.
All they have now are tricks.
Exactly. All they have, yes, they have no treats, they have only tricks.
Pay your treat tax, or we do trick.
Pay your treat tax, or we invade the schools and demand that. Never mind.
So, yeah, it is, this is our 9th anniversary. We started doing this we were broadcasting it starting October 31st, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Wow. It seems like only 9 years ago.
It does. I actually feel like after this week, it feels like 14.
I suppose I should pull out my 9th anniversary attendance register.
Okay.
I have some bad news.
Uh-oh.
I looked at the register. It's completely blank. Neither of us are here right now.
Oh, gosh. So we're going to have to start all over again on the 9-year register?
Yes.
From like day one of year one?
Yes.
Oh, man.
So...
I guess we're here for another 9 years.
I guess so. But that also means that we get to, we have freedom. We can invent ourselves from whole cloth.
Oh, okay.
It's time to pick a new name.
I want to be sexy vampire. It's Halloween, right?
Okay, I'll be sexy Frankenstein.
For really?
This is a monster.
Okay. Well, sexy Frankenstein.
This is a monster. I'm not sexy Frankenstein's monster. I'm sexy Frankenstein's monster.
Is that is the monster your last name?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously.
Frankenstein's your first?
Yes. Well,
okay.
Sexy is my first name. Frankenstein is like a family name.
Okay.
Yeah, my uncle was Frankenstein.
And he married into the Zamonster clan.
That's exactly. You got it.
Cool.
Anywho, I also go by Aidan Morgan when nobody else is looking.
And I've been known to go by Paul Deshane, but don't tell anybody.
I've heard the legends.
Yeah.
The legends of Paul Deshane.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
There
There was a sexy Dracula. His name was Paul
Deshane.
Came riding on a vampire horse. And the Queen City would never be the same.
Oh, my God. That's good. Yeah, I should have brought the guitar for the 9th anniversary.
Man. Oh, well.
Dang.
I don't know. But I think when this meeting is over and I have time to watch some TV, I'm going to put on that I Think You Should Leave skit with the song That Was the Night the Skeletons Came to Life.
I don't know any of this.
You don't?
I don't.
Okay, I'm not going to waste your time by describing it, but I think you should probably watch it.
Okay.
Yep.
I will do that when this is all done.
When this is all
9 years from now.
9 years from now. Tell my wife I love them.
So, Sexy Frankenstein.
Yes.
Did you know that there's an election on? Was that happening in 2015? There wasn't, was there?
don't think so.
No, that was 9 years ago. It
Yeah.
was like a year until our first election coverage.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was that the year we thought we would interview a bunch
Everybody.
of candidates?
We were going to interview everybody.
What a disaster.
It was
What
a total mess.
foolish idea that was. I can't believe that one of us came up with it and the other one said, yes, good idea.
Yeah.
Like, that should have been, there should have been a safeguard in there.
Yeah.
But we learned our lesson.
Yeah. And then CJTR sent us that message by pneumatic tube saying, if you're going to interview one candidate, you have to interview all of them. And we were like, we can do this.
If you're going to bring
And if you
candy, you
don't-
have to share with the whole class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's like some Elections Canada violation. So, anyways,
So, yeah.
never again. They broke us that first time.
Exactly. So yeah, I think election laws, CRTC regulations, and the sheer torture of hearing a dozen people talk about how they needed things to be more transparent and accountable. I think, caused us to spiral terribly.
Last election there was like this merciful respite from accountability and transparency. You had some candidates who had like some good ideas. Wanted to build things, do stuff. Mm-hmm. Didn't feel like they had to rely on hoary old platitudes.
Yeah.
And guess what they're rolling out this time?
Oh, do tell.
Oh my gosh, it's all platitudes. It's all transparency and accountability.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and fiscal responsibility.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone. I was talking to a parent with children who swim.
Oh.
And this parent herself swims. And she pointed out that when we first started talking about, having a new aquatic center, all that was drowned out by things like paying for the stadium.
Right. Yeah.
So the stadium took up all the oxygen and other projects. But apparently, the Lawson is tremendously oversubscribed.
Yeah,
there's so many people who use it. We've got lots of sporting events all year round there. Water polo and swim meets and so on.
Yeah.
And when those happen, general swimming and swimming lessons are canceled. So yeah, I think it would be nice to have an actual aquatic center.
Yeah,
which might cost $245 million, but compared to, say, a stadium, it would be open all year round. It would serve a massive swath of the community, and not just people who pay $100 to watch a football game or a Rolling Stones concert once a decade. And there are actually sporting events that come there, and generate
fairly regularly
impact.
Yeah.
So.
I'm convinced. I was on the fence, man.
Yeah, see?
But then this sexy Frankenstein walks in.
Right.
He starts dropping truth bombs.
Yeah.
About pools.
That's Mr. Zmonster.
Frankenstein no like. People no like pool.
Please, that is a really harmful stereotype.
Spot on
and it's harmful because it's so spot on.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Because you are very convincing, but there was last night a mayoral debate.
Yes.
And the pool came up a couple of times. And there was actually some new blood in the water, the mayoral debate water.
Right.
Which was here on Access Communications, the TV arm of this massive conglomerate that we've been absorbed by.
Right. Or is it opposite? Is it the opposite?
I don't know.
Are we Access Communications here in this room, and everything else is just like...
An extension of the Bureau?
Yeah. Like a vestigial limb or something flopping around.
Soon. If it's not true, it will be soon.
You'll all be vestigial limbs to the Bureau.
Yeah. So there was this debate last night, and the pool came up. And one of the new people who was there was this guy, Rod Williams, who hasn't been to anything else. He's been difficult to contact, apparently. But they got him to come to the Access debate last night.
Oh.
And that seemed to be his big thing. That was the catalyst that got him to run, was spending all that there money on that there pool. Crazy, $245. That should have been the off-ramp.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, and we also had Councillor Brashani, again, bringing up everything should be on the table. We should be looking at every option.
What does that mean?
Well, what we need to do is we've got this project here, but we need to take a step back, and we need to consider it from first principles, because maybe we could do it better.
What is she, Aristotle?
Somewhere else.
What the heck?
Yeah, she is. She's the Aristotle of City Council. You didn't know this? I thought I told you this.
No.
It's her slogan for her election. Vote Brashani, Aristotle of City Council.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
just take a step back. What is with Brashani?
I don't know.
Seriously.
I don't know. The moment, like, when you hear Brashani say it, if you go to a lot of council meetings and you live tweet every single freaking one of them,
as some do,
you kind of get inured to the flow of what Brashani's going to do. So come out strong in favor of something. We got to do this for the community. Got to make Regina the best Regina it can be. And then the price tag comes and it's like, whoa, let's hold our horses here and start over again. Let's put this out to consultation. People don't know what we're doing. They don't know we're spending money on a pool. Spot on impression.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but then Sean Sparvier, one of the candidates,
yes,
lovely man, but it was a question last night during the debate on homelessness. And he said, I think what we need to do about homelessness is we need to take a different look at the Lawson Pool. And he was like, I think we should take a look at the pool, and maybe what we should do is if we're going to build this indoor aquatic center, we should build it with, an indigenous community center and, a place where we can give out food to the homeless. And basically what he was doing is he was saying, let's go back to square one and redesign the pool from the beginning. And I don't want to beat him up over this, because it's basically the same thing that Brashani is saying and that just Williams guy was saying, is that we should just start over again. And just the way that people think, oh, I've got this out-of-the-box idea, and we can hash this out over an afternoon, and we'll fix the pool problem, and it won't make it, it'll go ahead and it'll be great, not realizing that cities take a long time to do these things, and it would take months to redesign it like this. And this seems to be so much of the discourse I'm seeing online about this election points to this pool and says, well, let's do it differently. And everybody on Reddit has their own idea on how to do the pool more better. But all of it would add another 6 months to 3 years to the project. And if we had actually done the pool back when we were doing the stadium, it probably would have cost half of $245. It might have cost only $80 million to put that Mamma Jamma up. But we didn't. We waited and waited and waited, and now it's $245, and it's our own fault.
Yeah, and I think the only way to do the pool now is to do the pool. Just do the pool.
Now, I think we should wait another decade and pay $500 million.
I see merit to that idea. Yeah. Meanwhile, we should try and build small pools on the edge of the city to see if we can attract provincial money. Maybe I don't know how that works. Just dig holes in the ground and fill them with water, and say, let's hope. Yeah. Let's hope we get some people splashing around in here.
That would be a good logo for this. Let's hope we get people splish splashing around in here. Regina, splish splashing around.
That's exactly it.
Hey, we're on 91.3 FM CJTR, Regina Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau. This is our post-mayoral debate spectacular.
Halloween special, 9-year anniversary, splish splashathon.
That's us. Yeah. We've started in the middle of the debate here. And I actually think that we should go right back to the beginning, because there's stuff that happened in this debate that if you weren't watching it or people weren't watching it, this is stuff that needs to be witnessed. So I need you to witness it to make sure that I wasn't crazier on Sudafed when I was watching it.
Now, but okay.
Okay, here we go. This is the first clip. So Rod Williams was new also Marina Bushenlonga was new.
I do not know this.
Yeah, exactly. She's a candidate. She wasn't at the Cathedral Forum. She doesn't have a website. She doesn't, as far as I can tell, have a Facebook page that's dedicated to her campaign. But she is running for mayor, and she showed up at the Access debate last night, and she was the first person to give an opening statement. So I'm going to play you a part of that right now.
What is the question?
Opening statements.
My name is Melina Bushenlonga. This year I became Canadian citizen. I was looking forward for that, so I can be one of the candidates. I moved in Canada 10 years ago. My husband is a local farmer, and moved in Regina 6 years ago, and it's the worst place to be. I have traveled all over my life, and I worked in Bahrain, Middle East. I'm September 11 survivor as a flight attendant previously, and I worked and been in Switzerland as well. And I hope I will bring some kind of good stuff to the city of Regina, and the residents, of course.
So that was, Melina Bushenlonga.
So what I'm hearing is that Regina is worse than 9/11.
Yes.
I love it.
But she survived.
Okay. I know we're not supposed to endorse candidates on this show, but Melina Bushenlonga, as of this moment, has my vote.
Yeah.
Because that is a remarkable opening statement.
There was a lot of Bushenlonga energy last night.
Wow.
And so I've got another clip for you, because if you're on board now,
oh boy,
wait until this next clip. And I'm sorry, I called her Marina at the beginning. It's Melina Bushenlonga.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so what happened was they did opening statements, all 9 freaking candidates. And then they did questions, so they on topics. And so there was a question on each topic. Everybody got a minute to speak on that. This was a topic, the topic was tourism. So what would you do to improve tourism and make the tourism board of Regina work better?
Okay.
And here is Melina Bushenlonga.
Bushenlonga, you have 1 minute.
My name is Bushenlonga. Bushenlonga.
I apologize. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tourism in Regina. What is the attraction in Regina that is really very important for someone to come over and see us? I'm coming from Greece, and 80% of our growth is tourism. We know exactly what is tourism. It's not just our food is very famous. It's famous because the food connects us. There's nothing that, as a migrant community, to demonstrate openly to our community better food courts and better food exhibitions, better to show our hospitality, right? I will say Regina, the problem with Regina is not rebrand Regina. Regina is the capital city of Saskatchewan. It's a farm community. It's beautiful farm community. And I will add, since we legalize marijuana, legalize the prostitution as well, which are going to be taxed as well, income from there, and decrease as well the crime.
All right, thank you, Ms.
I haven't finished.
So that was Melina Bushenlonga.
Okay. Do we legalize prostitution, or is she suggesting that we do this along
for tourism?
For tourism.
Yeah. Well, marijuana is legal, so we may as well legalize prostitution in Regina.
Well, there are massage parlors,
Yeah.
I mean, she still got my vote, just from the opening statement. I wouldn't just characterize Regina as a farming community, because it's a city. Yeah. But
her partner does farm, I assume, outside. So maybe that's where she's... But she does say she lives downtown.
Oh, really?
Or that she owns property downtown.
Oh.
Or that... Well, she definitely owns a restaurant near downtown.
Well, she owns a restaurant near downtown?
Yeah. A Greek restaurant. It's fairly new.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's open yet.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow, that would bring in... So they could have the marijuana and the prostitution, And the Greek restaurant.
food.
And Greek food.
Yeah.
There was a lot about Greek food in that statement.
Yes.
Yeah, I was surprised, actually,
Yeah.
how much time she spent over 1 minute discussing Greek food. Anyway, bit of an odd answer. Still got my vote, but I'm willing to be convinced otherwise.
Okay. Well, there were more candidates. One candidate couldn't make it to the debate.
Was it the candidate who was dancing or the candidate who was under arrest?
Okay, there were two candidates who couldn't make it last night. One is on the lam,
Right.
and the other is Bob Pierce,
Right.
deaf dancing Bob Pierce. He's the one that I'm talking about.
I figured.
Because he couldn't make the debate, but they did take a written question from Bob Pierce. And I think it's worth not just listening to his question, but also some of the answers, some of the responses
I'm very curious.
that Bob Pierce's question elicited. So here we'll go with that.
All right. Well, we have a question that has been submitted by mayoral candidate Bob Pierce, who did not make it here tonight. This is verbatim what he has asked me to say. Since health is the number one priority, and the pineal gland is the healing center of our body, chlorine and fluoride disrupt the function of this gland. What will you do? This first question will go to you, Ms. Masters. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. First off, I just want to make clear that the City of Regina's drinking water is very safe, tested often. We are undergoing Buffalo Pound water treatment plant renewals, and we're bringing it through, and we do all of the testing to ensure that your drinking water is safe. As it relates to fluoride, we did pass this last term the inclusion of fluoride once the treatment plant is up and running. And I think I'll just share that we received a letter from dozens of doctors and dentists signed by them, and a note from Canada Public Health saying that fluoride in the water is the single biggest, one of the top 100 public health initiatives in the last century. So I'm proud of that.
Thank you, Ms. Masters. To Mr. Sparvier.
I take a little different approach to this question about the pineal gland and things like that. Being a person who's a little bit spiritual and believes in the Creator and all that type of stuff, I don't think it has big of an effect as what he's saying it does in his question. What I would do is if someone really has a problem with the fluoride and the chlorine that's in the water, because it has to be there, it's all public safety mandated, go get a filter. Go get a Brita filter. Put it on your taps. Get reverse osmosis if you're worried about it, because I can personally tell you I swim in the pool, I drink the city water, and I'm fine.
All right, so that was the question from Bob Pierce about the pineal gland, with answers from Mayor Masters and Sean Sparvier.
Wow. Deaf dancing Bob Pierce, licensed pataphysician.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, man, activating his pineal gland. Seeing through the dimensions.
Well, not here, because we've got chlorine and fluoride in our water.
Obviously that blocks your sight. I changed my mind. I think maybe Bob Pierce has my vote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want our pineal glands to be awakened. Although what I want more than that is fluoridation in our water. Finally.
Yeah.
I mean, it is embarrassing that we have not had this.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and I'm glad that our debate last night, our candidates were able to get to the bottom of the pineal gland thing.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. It was, so the moment this came up, I was like, am I living in Parks and Recreation now?
Yeah.
Is Mayor Masters Leslie Knope?
When I go home, I'm going to rewatch like Reanimator or maybe From Beyond again, just to really get in that sort of like mood.
Pineal gland mood?
Get my pineal gland awakened. And see through time and space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can already see through time and space. It's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Very slowly.
Very slowly.
1 second per second.
Yeah,
but
But that's good. That's good enough for
That's as fast as I want to move.
Exactly.
Any faster than 1 second per second. Oh, my gosh.
God, yeah. If I go faster than 1 second per second for even a minute in a day, I cannot get to sleep at night.
I hear you.
Yeah. It's like 20 cups of coffee at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. After 5 o'clock.
But before that, you want to start the morning.
Start the morning like by
going a second and a half.
Yep, waken my pineal gland, speed up my perception, get a lot done.
Yeah,
and it's like a nice workout for the soul.
Yeah.
After that, though, just I'm with you. Just 1 second per second. She goes. I'm
surprised pineal gland, like, it just sounds dirty.
It does sound a little dirty.
Yeah.
And I think that's half the reason that it's like was so popular with, gurus and whatnot, because the name sounds funny.
Right. It's the ding dong of the brain.
Exactly. Your mental and spiritual whang, pineal gland.
Yes.
I hope the children have gone to bed.
Oh, well, they're all out of trick-or-treating, apparently.
Yes.
Right? With the NDP.
That's right, yeah. Taxing the locals.
Yeah, gosh dang parasites.
Why don't you earn your candy?
Sucking candy out of my buckets.
Why does this really does sound like somebody whose biggest problem is being pounded by duplexes?
Yes. Anyways, we should go to Innovative Revenue Tools. I do have an Innovative Revenue Tool this week.
Oh.
That debate was 2 hours of pure entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It should be pay-per-view next election.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah, and then all that sweet election debate money
that dosh,
can just go straight to fixing potholes.
Nice. Or paying, which will fill them with water, so people can splash around.
Oh, that's nice, too.
And attract more money.
Why do we need an indoor aquatic center when every pothole is like an outdoor pool?
Yeah.
For your tire.
And we could just... And what if we took all those potholes and just slowly nudged them all together?
Yeah.
And then we had, would make one heck of a pool.
Or if we just quit fixing them, they would eventually all merge together into one big.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we'd save on maintenance costs.
Yeah, exactly.
And have free pool.
All right, but we should go to Innovative Revenue Tools for real.
Okay.
And we're back from Innovative Revenue Tools.
We are back.
Yeah.
I just want to follow up on something that Melina Bush-Longa said.
Oh, yeah, sure.
About Regina being the worst place.
I think you have a crush.
I think I just might.
Yeah.
And she mentioned, and she's lived in Switzerland.
Yes.
How dare she say that Regina is worse than Switzerland? I've been to Switzerland.
Oh, yeah?
That place is nonsense.
Really?
There was a customs officer there. I did not care for him.
Did not care for him at all?
Did not care for him one bit.
How come?
That's well, he took my passport.
Did he give it back?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But he took it away. And they say, don't let them do that. Don't let them... I was like, what if I'm imprisoned by the Swiss, I thought to myself.
According to Melina Bush-Longa, it might be better than living here.
I think a Swiss prison probably would be preferable to living in Regina, according to Melina Bush-Longa.
Bush-Longa. Yeah.
But no, Switzerland was actually a lovely place. There are mountains and so on.
Okay.
And nice people. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, never been.
Well, you're missing out on Swiss things.
I like their chocolates.
Yeah, their cheese, their mist.
Oh, their Swiss cheese. Too full of holes for me.
Too full of.
I feel like they're trying to rip me off.
That's right. Those devious Swiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't even really like their Swiss cheese.
Yeah. We'll sell it to you by volume. No, we'll sell it to you by
holes.
Yeah, by holes. Anyways, yeah. So more debate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got to meet the candidates, and it was. I think for a lot of people, this would be their first time seeing a lot of these candidates in action. Even for some people, like Prashani and Masters, who've been fixtures for 4 years, some people may not have really been paying attention in this. They may have just checked in last election, checking in this election, making sure everything's A-okay, finding out it's not. Finding out their pineal gland might be being suppressed by our water.
Yep.
The alarm bells are going off.
But you can't hear them because your pineal gland is not activated.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess overall, and I went out and I looked at responses online again, and the responses seem to be pretty similar to any responses that people had for the Cathedral Forum on October 20th. That people are just confused about who to vote for. They don't really know. I mean, I know you're decided now.
I'm waffling between Melina and Bob right now.
Right.
Yeah, but, well, you know what? It'll all come down to the ballot box.
Exactly. It seems online that of the candidates, there's 4 sort of main ones who people are looking at for serious. Mayor Masters, of course. She's the incumbent. Yep. Councillor Brashani. She has a long history
of stuff. Yes.
8 years on council. She's been around for a long time.
She knows how things work.
Bill Pratt.
Yep.
A lot of people were talking about him at one point because he has a resume, apparently, that people think is the kind of thing that you should have.
Is that including working with Grant Devine, though?
He ran in 1991 to be part of the Grant Devine Conservatives, the year that the Grant Devine Conservatives lost.
Yes, indeed.
So he did not get in.
Very badly,
yeah.
Yes.
That would have been a long time. He would have been a very young Conservative.
Yeah, but I mean, we have long memories in this province, and
we do.
We rarely forgive.
Yeah, and library cards.
And exactly, we have long library cards. Yeah. They stretch through time.
Yeah, and then the last one is Baczynski. People are talking about.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Baczynski, I've noticed online he has a lot of Baczynski stands who are supporting him. I suspect some of those Baczynski stands are buddies of Baczynski.
Right. Is he the Beto O'Rourke of this election?
Holy moly. I think he might be. I think you've nailed it.
If he stands on a table, we've got him. We've got it.
Yeah, because he is an engineer and has experience as a project manager for infrastructure. So I actually had a bit. I've got little bits of the 4 people who are kind of front runners. I've got some bits that I've pulled that we can listen to. And I thought we could start with Chad Baczynski. And this question is on infrastructure. What are you going to do about the infrastructure?
Ooh.
And here is Chad. Oh, no. Here is Chad.
The question will go to you. Mr. Baczynski, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. So this is my background. This is my expertise that I will bring to the city. Managing major infrastructure projects, specifically around critical infrastructure, this is what I know. This can be done better. I can tell just looking at the city and the frustrations that I hear from residents and how they perceive a lot of the work that's going on around the city. We need to look at the processes. We need to improve the processes. We need to look at policies that govern how administration is able to execute construction projects. We need to look at our procurement practices as well to make sure that we're offering flexible time frames. So what I will bring forward is to investigate 24-hour construction, to investigate extended construction hours, to make sure that we don't have 2 seasons in winter and construction season.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Baczynski.
All right, so that was Chad Baczynski. Or Baczynski, answering a question about what to do about the infrastructure. I think what I found interesting about this is that he, and a lot of his answers were very sort of technocratic. He was very much about, I'm going to get down and start mucking about with the plans.
Honestly, that answer was, it didn't sound like someone with a vision. It sounded like someone with, who worked for the city rather than wanted to, guide the city.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know why he isn't applying for, apparently there's some turnover at City Hall.
Apparently. I mean, no shade on Baczynski. That's just how that answer came off to my ears.
Yeah. That was definitely my impression throughout it. He's a nice enough guy. He seems earnest and honest. But he did seem to be somebody who much better suited to be in administration.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if being mayor would drive him frickin' up a wall.
I think so, because you've kind of got to be the CEO wrangling a bunch of weirdo executives.
Yeah.
That's city council. Those are the weirdo executives.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I figured that out.
Just for those listening who might not have picked up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think because so many of his answers were like that. I mean, at least he's thought about things, although I will note, this 24-hour construction is like one of his, if most candidates don't have anything specific that they're saying. Paczynski had this, right? 24-hour construction. This is something that's been considered, in my time covering city council, at least once, probably more times than that, and I didn't notice. I can't remember the details of how it turned out, but city administration kind of had this air of, you seriously think we haven't thought about this before when council brought it up? And they came back with a report on it, and they were like, basically, look, it's noisy, and there are places where we could do 24-hour construction, but for the most part, it would keep residents up at night.
Yeah, residents would not enjoy that.
Yeah. So I think the last time I remember it, and I went through my notes trying to find a reference to it, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm working strictly off memory, but that it is a thing that can be considered by city administration when it's appropriate, but typically it won't be, because typically the work they do is around where people live.
So I mean, unless mayoral candidate Paczynski comes up with a method for silent construction.
Oh, there's an idea.
Padding, draping,
Yeah.
That's probably not going to fly.
No. The next thing I wanted to take a look at is, I was going to take a look at Bill Pratt, Councillor Brashani, and, Sandra Masters right now on the question of housing affordability. And I didn't just pick. This is something that I'm obsessed with, and so that's why I sort of gravitated towards it. So I picked this topic just to sort of compare and contrast how the three people respond to it. I think I'll start with Brashani and the mayor because their comments were back to back. And so this is Councillor Brashani starts answering a question on what are you going to do about housing affordability, followed by Mayor Masters.
Ms. Brashani, we are talking housing affordability. You have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. We do know that there is a shortage of affordable housing, so we do have to do our part. We also know that many of the affordable housing has been built around the city. It's time that we have to actually look to go into the city where we have amenities and we have services, close to transit. That's very important. But I also do not believe that we should also be changing a whole neighborhood with a bunch of high density. I think it's a balance. But I think every neighborhood, if it's close to a school or a transit, any kind of vacant land that could be a possibility should be considered. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Brashani. Ms. Masters, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. Over the last number of years, we have gone from a 7% vacancy rate in rental units to a 1% vacancy rate. That kind of pressure on multifamily units is extraordinarily difficult for folks, who are sitting on that line of affordability to take. We know that rents have gone up. We still hold the position of one of the most affordable cities in this country, but we need to get more service land into production. Importantly, what the Housing Accelerator Fund initiatives are intended to do is get an additional 1,100 units into market over the next 3 years. Density near transit is important, especially for new Canadians and young people. Access to jobs is vitally important for our economy. I think what's important is that we don't download 100% of city infrastructure onto new home buyers, and that we need to fill the market with some of that missing middle, the duplexes, the triplexes, some of those row housing and that townhouse, anywhere we can put those in infill. In addition, one of the key initiatives has been making money available to revitalize existing housing stock in vacant properties. This will incredibly help our core neighborhoods of Heritage and North Central.
Thank you, Ms. Masters.
Thank you.
All right, we are on to Mr. Sparvier. We're talking...
All right, so that was Councillors Brashani and Sandra Masters talking about housing affordability at the mayoral debate last night.
Neither of them mentioned Greek food, so I'll be honest, my attention kind of wandered.
Oh.
Once I realized they were not going to be discussing legalization of marijuana or Greek food.
Fair. I didn't know that there was a demo for that.
Yeah, apparently the sweet spot for that is me.
The marijuana and Greek food demographic.
Exactly.
We need to target more messaging to that demo.
I'm pretty agnostic on legalized prostitution. People can do what they like, but legalize weed and which it is, and give me some Greek food.
Sure. Yeah. Also, more olives in the Greek food, please.
No joke. I'm not even a big fan of olives, but when I get a Greek salad with like one or two measly olives, I am incensed.
I am too. I'm with you.
I think we should ask Melina Bush-Longa about that.
We go to a restaurant. I bet it doesn't skimp on olives or prostitution.
I want prostitutes to serve me salads with lots of olives.
Is there anything more Greek?
I don't even know.
Anyways.
It's too much riffing on Melina Bush-Longa.
Yes, I know. Sorry.
Anyway. No, my fault.
The thing I found interesting about this juxtaposition was how Bershani's been on council twice as long as Masters, and Masters came so prepared to this. So much more prepared to this. And it was like this for every question. Yeah. It is, I find it strange that Bershani is not a little more equipped to discuss these things, having spent 8 years in council and putting out a bid to essentially be the CEO of the city. You'd think you would be able to actually coherently discuss the issues at hand. You'd think. And I think she's in an awkward spot because she, typically a councillor or a mayor who's running, if you're a councillor running for re-election, you're going to run on your record. But here she is running against the incumbent mayor when she's a councillor, and she has to sort of distance herself from that legacy, but at the same time it sort of means she can't run on her own record because she's also kind of pointing to what the mayor did as being good. And there was a moment in the debate where Councillor Bershani talked about, her fiscal, like she cared about fiscal matters, and she pointed to how we were relining pipes instead of replacing them, and that's saving the city $23 million. And then they cut to a split screen with the mayor there, who had this big grin on her face as if to say, yes, I know. And she did manage to work the relining into her talking points at some point as well. But so that Bershani was struggling to sort of distance herself, while at the same time she couldn't throw the previous council a bone, because she's running on this whole idea to refocus Regina, which, and I do wonder sometimes, what would she run on? What could she point to? And that wouldn't actually be attributable to the mayor. So,
well, probably nothing in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
Well, and also there's no reason that she could go into a question less prepared than Masters to answer it, and that did feel like what it was happening every time, right? She's been there longer.
Yeah.
She knows, she should theoretically know these files at least as well as Sandra Masters. And yet she was rarely able to pull out stats or name organizations or name deals that have been cut or, projects that have been brought to completion. And, it was kind of notable that she seemed very much more like a new mayoral candidate, somebody who's totally new to things, but went to a few council meetings. That's harsh. I shouldn't have gone that far. But it was, you know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah. I mean, it may just be the possibility that Sandra Masters is exceptional at this kind of thing.
There's a reason she won the last time.
Exactly.
Because she did the reading.
Yeah, she did the reading, and she's a highly intelligent person who can, and I've seen her do it, can just put information together in her head and speak coherently and succinctly, which is a rare skill.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Anyways, we're on 91.3 FM CJTR Regina Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Next up, I wanted to play a little bit, 1 minute, of Bill Pratt on the same subject, housing affordability.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Pratt, you have 1 minute.
I certainly thank you for the question. I understand that this is a divisive issue at times because, in theory, we understand the concept of densification. It improves our city. It makes things easier. Can make more vibrant communities. It's good for the environment. The rub comes when the house is going to be built right beside yours. We're at a point now where housing supply matters to our city. We have to figure out how are we going to move through this. I don't think we can send that money back. You know, that's gone. We're going to have to execute and make this happen. And because the residents don't feel like they were part of the process to get here today, we now have to work extra hard to ensure that their citizens are part of the process as we start to execute on this new direction. I mean, supportive housing or affordable housing, it matters to our city. Incentives and streamlining the processes for home builders to make it easier and faster for them to build, that's important. We need to build partnerships to maximize our impact and continue to help our city grow to be all that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pratt.
All right. So that was Bill Pratt on housing affordability.
Okay. I mean, that's not bad for a minute, I thought.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that he basically outlined that, affordable housing is a net good in many ways, but people are weird about it.
Yeah.
That's why it's divisive,
yeah.
because it does all this good stuff, but people are jerks. And you can't change people being jerks about it.
I think it's interesting. This question, by the way, was posed. They had like two questions over the night. One was posed by Stu Niebergall of the Regina Region Home Builders Association. Mm-hmm. It was this one. And the other question was from the head of, I'm blanking on her name, the head of the Regina Hotels Association.
Oh, I know that. Sorry, I'm blanking on the name too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So she posed the tourism question. Stu posed this question on housing affordability, and will you support the efforts that the city has implemented to create more housing diversity and more affordable housing? So I think Pratt gave sort of the right answer for the Regina Region Home Builders Association.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It was a good answer. It was different from a similar question that he had to answer in Cathedral on density. And it raised the Housing Accelerator Fund, said neighborhoods are going to have to deal with density. How would you foster that density and prepare neighborhoods for it? And he seemed much less bullish on Housing Accelerator Fund, much less bullish on density, although he did use that line, I don't think we can give the money back.
Yes, I don't
but
know.
In Cathedral, he seemed much more inclined to give the money back. This time, he's clearly came around to a more sort of home builder friendly response.
Also kind of funny, because if we're talking about density, I mean, Cathedral residents would probably be more sympathetic, although I could be wrong on that. Cause
you know what? During that Cathedral debate, when that density question came up, Lori Brashani said nobody wants density in their neighborhood, and this was one of two heckle lines for the night, and it was people from the back of the room shouting, "We do!" in Muppet voices.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She actually got shouted down on that. And then she had to change course on that question and say that, we don't want unplanned density. I can't remember what her exact answer is. I shouldn't guess. But I do remember her saying nobody wants density in their neighborhood. And there was some rowdies in Cathedral who were standing for density, who had to stand up to Councillor Brashani.
Yeah, I mean, if I were doing that, I would not. If I were running for mayor, speaking to a Cathedral audience, I would not say that.
Yeah. Anyways.
It's like saying, man, I hate heritage homes. Don't you just hate them?
Stinky
wood
heritage homes.
Although a lot of residents of Cathedral who live in them, Michael, they suck. But from bitter experience.
Yeah.
But, you take my meaning.
Yeah. Okay, after this round of questions, there was a round where each candidate got to ask one other candidate a question.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting development here. Most of the questions were naturally for Masters. There were two questions for Baczynski.
Oh.
So Mayor Masters asked him a question. And, we haven't spoken about Kevin Kardash.
No.
And his cowboy hat.
Yeah.
It's magnificent.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He also asked a question of Baczynski, and it was about how do you think you're going to pull off this 24-hour construction? The only other question was for Lori Brashani.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting in that Bill Pratt didn't get any questions. And I think that if you are like perceived as being a threat or, somebody in the running, you would get questions. So the mayor got questions, Paczynski got questions, and Brashani got a question from Bill Pratt. But Bill Pratt didn't get any questions.
Yeah, indifference, huh?
Yeah. So that was interesting. So either he's so far out ahead that nobody wants to give him the attention, or they just don't worry about him and they're worried about Paczynski. But I wanted to play Pratt's question for Lori Brashani because this was like the spicy moment in the debate.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, here we go.
Goes to you, Mr. Pratt. You have 20 seconds to ask your question.
Thank you. My question is for Lori. Lori, you've been on council for 8 years, for the last 4 years under Mayor Masters. Many have described it as chaotic, ineffective, and embarrassing at times. We never saw you emerge as a leader, and if you tried, clearly you failed to unite council. Given your track record, how do you reconcile your past with your current promises of collaboration and authentic leadership?
Thank you for the question. You know what? I did not want to add any more embarrassing moments. I was not into calling people out publicly. To me, that is unprofessional. I think having a conversation with the mayor was my priority, and that's what I did. I think to do it publicly, but I will tell you that I have worked with the councillors that were frustrated, and, we worked with a plan that way. So it wasn't in public, and I was not there to make a scene because I think that just adds more embarrassing moments to the past council. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Ms. Brashani. The next...
All right, so that was Bill Pratt's question for Lori Brashani.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah, so I think I think he saw it as a shot over both Masters and Brashani's bow.
Yeah. And everybody else's.
Yeah.
The entire council's. Yeah. I think that's, that's kind of a clever little question.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Saying, you're out here like claiming one thing, but we haven't seen anything. And I'm not sure Brashani's answer was very effective. Basically saying, you didn't see what I've been doing, even if that's
it was
the truth.
All behind the scenes.
That's right. It could be so much worse.
I am like the little finger of City Council.
That's right. People were going to murder each other if it weren't for me.
Yeah.
There would have been bodies on the floor.
I'm calling up here. So I live tweeted this thing, and I've posted the live tweet of the mayoral debate to the Queen City Improvement Bureau website, queencityib.com.
Nice.
If you go to queencityib.com, then go to memos or memo, it's the first link there. And you can get like the entire transcript of my live tweet in chronological order.
Humble brag.
Pratt's closing remark I thought was interesting. And it was, it's time for the Sandra and Lori show to end. You know it, and I know it. Unleash the potential and watch the city soar. I have the leadership skills for the city to reach its potential. We must remember our city is made of people. You drive this city.
And then he fired up his jetpack and
sped off
into the sky.
Yeah.
Wow, that's strong words.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have Melina Bush Longus?
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I will read. So I didn't actually transcribe everybody's final statements. I have one tweet per candidate that kind of sums up what I took from their final statements.
Nice.
Okay. So let's go. Bush and Longa to close. Oh, no. So we'll start with Kevin Kardash, the man of the mighty cowboy hat. Okay. I believe our city can be built by a middle-class man who has the street knowledge and street smarts and ability to be open and learn everything about this city. Bush and Longa to close. November 13th, you have to vote Bush and Longa for many reasons. I see the problem more clearly than these other guys. They care about the dollar, not your future.
Nice.
Masters, I care deeply about this city. I'm proud of it and I want to represent it. I have and will continue to bring the passion, skills, and relationships I've learned from so many people in the city. I'm more committed now because I know better what's at stake.
Okay, lessons learned, playing on experience.
Baczynski, we need to improve city operations and drive continuous improvement. I have the leadership background, infrastructure background. As mayor, I'll be committed to ending the drama and focusing on foundations.
He should be hired there, not run the place.
Bevan Fox, working for a brighter future is my priority. Collaboration is key. As mayor, I'll work with federal and provincial government to secure more funding for key areas. Regina is beautiful and diverse, and I'll be a voice for all our residents.
Okay.
Rod Williams, Regina, thanks. I go back to grade school. My daughter was at Sheldon with Mayor Masters' son. You treated my daughter very well. I have to thank you. We disagree on taxes in the pool, okay? I want to be mayor to make your life better, affordable. None of us should be priced out.
He should win.
Sparvier, I'm a man with a plan. My plan is to generate revenue for the city. How will I do that? Partner with a First Nation to make surgical rooms. Why? I want income coming into the city so we can build projects like the pool and the library.
That is really specific.
Pratt, we already did. Brashani to close, and this is our final one. You will make an important check mark on the ballot. If I am mayor, I'll work tirelessly to get back to our core services. We'll make sure every tax dollar is spent efficiently and prioritizing what truly matters.
You know what? I am going to make an important check mark on the ballot.
And? For Greek food and olives?
I want, actually, I'm going to vote for all of them at once.
Ooh.
I want
Big X?
Yeah, I want a hydra of a mayor.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awfully good of you.
Yeah. And we need Bob Pearson there at the bottom, so it can be a dancing hydra.
Well, no, he'd be like hanging out the front, like the pineal gland.
Oh, nice. Yes, yes. Awaken your third eye, activate your pineal gland.
Yeah. We have got to end. We're out of time, man.
Okay. In that case,
before we do that, we should mention next episode. So in 7 days, it looks like we're going to be doing another political panel to end the election season.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Tune in. All right. In that case, let's adjourn.
I second that motion.
Okay, motion carried. You've been listening to the Queen City Improvement Bureau on 91.3 FM, Regina Community Radio. Tuned into the community. Your hosts are Paul Deshen and Aidan Morgan. Music by Ryan Hill, a.k.a. Guidewire. Our guests are nobody. We had no guests tonight. Deal with it. But we heard the voices of many mayoral candidates and had a great time with them. We are broadcast live Thursday evenings, 7 to 8 p.m. Rebroadcast Monday afternoons, 3 to 4 p.m. You can find us on our website, queencityib.com, as well as cjtr.ca, of course. And all those good places. We're on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. Come find us. That's it. Keep on improving, Regina.